Here with Concordia head track and field coach Matt Beisel to preview the upcoming 2019 indoor season here. We've kind of gotten started already with an intra-squad meet, but we look just kind of quickly at last year. I know there was a lot of youth on the team that you talked about. I think it was especially true with the men's team. How did maybe going through some growing pains with young athletes set you up to be better this year?
Yeah, we have a really young team. We brought in a lot of recruits last year. We were very blessed to have 74 freshmen my first year say yes to us, and so they were our freshman class last year. And they brought a lot of talent. We had a lot of state champions, state runner-ups, but again, when you get to the collegiate level, especially in the GPAC, and at our national level, the competitiveness is so high that it takes a while for some of those kids to put on more strength, raise their mental ability from where they were in high school to meet the new expectations. And I think this is particularly true of guys because you're raising the hurdle height, you're increasing the weight of the implements for throwing, and so you've got to build a lot more power and strength, and it takes time to do that. At the same time, we had a lot of great success. We knew coming into last year, after graduating our 5 guys who scored all of our points at nationals: Lucas Wickman, Phil Kreutzer, Zach Lurs, Cody Bolstorff, and CJ Mueller, that we were going to be down quite a bit. And again, we also saw the big picture, which is we're bringing in these great recruits, and it's going to take a little time to get that momentum going. We had a little gap there for a while, and so last year we ended up, as we expected, going from second at nationals indoor to tying for 42nd. And outdoor, I think we were 5th or 6th on the guys' side, and we ended up this past year getting, I think, tying for 69th. So I think with the kids that we've got who have returned, we're going to have a nice shot of getting back into the top 25 in the nation this year. And I also feel like at the conference level, we're going to move up a couple of places and be in that top 3 position again. So I think we've got some good things to look forward to. All of our fall testing and our intra-squad meet indicates that we're primed for some big improvements over last year, which is what we hoped and expected and worked hard for. And so that's the guys for you at this point.
Well, you mentioned some good early indications then from what you've seen since the fall semester started. As we record this, it's a few days after the blue-white meet. What were some of the impressions that came from those performances at that meet?
I'd say overall, our coaching staff, as we talked about it, we're raising our eyebrows and saying, all right, things are working out. We had some really good performances. Cody Williams, who was an All-American as a freshman in the heptathlon last year and also qualified for outdoor nationals in the decathlon and in the pole vault, he has really gotten a fire lit under him. He trained hard all summer. He came in this fall just ready to go. His maturity's grown. We have 3 freshman multi-event guys who he's taken under his wing, and he's acting like a senior. He's showing true leadership. Has been like a father hen to these guys, and they're having a lot of fun. But he's really pushing them, and they're all growing. So I feel like he's hit a new level in his mental place of where he is, and also what he sees, and his mark that he got in the heptathlon at our indoor intra-squad meet, I think would have been top 3 in the nation last year, and also obviously clearly qualified him for nationals. But he's doing very well, and we're excited to see what happens. His high jumps really coming together. That's an event he was strong in high school with, and so those are some good things. We also, on the guys' side, some of our freshman throwers are really taken off. But if you look at at some of our returners. We redshirted Liam Hennessy last year, and he had a good day in the shot put. Hunter Bartles is looking good. Weight, all these guys, weight throw especially, but shot put fantastic. And then you can't fail to mention Jacob Cornelio, who he knocked out an amazing throw that blew his personal best away by a mile. And it's that's exciting if you look at the national and the conference scene of what can happen. There's a lot of guys that I'm sure if I looked at my list I could mention also on the throws side. We have some good jumps. Taylor Beck had a nice triple jump. He's looking better than he ever has. And in the sprints and the hurdles, we're also very strong. Angelo Hurtado is a freshman who was a state champion in Colorado last year in the 110 hurdles. He was also ranked number 1 coming into finals in the 300 hurdles and ended up having a bad race. But he's a guy who's going to be an impact player for us right away. I could talk on and on distance-wise. Wyatt Lear just came off of a B standard qualifier as a freshman in the half marathon a week and a half ago, and I think he's going to be a guy who is going to score and place well for us. Jordan Lorenz. I mean, there's 100 and probably about 75 guys, so I can keep going. But I'm really, really pleased with what's going on. Pole vault wise, we have super depth on our guys pole vault. I think we have 8 guys who could potentially go over 15 this year. And if you look at Dalton Berry, Gavin DeHaye, Logan Craig, Tucker Platt, Tyrell Reichert, Cody Williams, I know I'm forgetting somebody, but those guys are just getting better and better. And high jump wise, Ben Pratt jumped a personal best the other day and would have hit a B standard in the high jump, and he was right there with Cody Williams. I'm trying to think. I don't want to miss any events, but I know with all this going on, I probably will. Tyree Daniels was our leader in the short sprints. He's a transfer out at Colby Community College in Kansas, and originally from Texas, and he was our winner in the short distance sprints. And Gavin Davis, a freshman out of Texas, ran I think a 48.8 in high school and in the 400, and he ended up being our leader in the 400 and the 200 the other day. So he's going to help all those guys working together. We're going to have a good 4x4. On the 800 middle distance, Josiah McAllister and Thomas Taylor both ran well under 2 minutes on an indoor track, just pushing each other. And I think with the supporting cast that they've got, our 4x8, potentially our DMR could be really good. So I could keep listing stats. They're all in my head. I'm loving this, having a great time with it, but excited to see, will our guys do what they need to over break and keep the bigger picture in mind and get some training in and then come back ready to roll. That's what we're expecting and hoping for.
Well, I know the women's team has pretty high expectations on where they could maybe finish nationally. It's got to be comforting when you have a couple female throwers that have won national titles. But what is it? How does that maybe put you at ease when you have a Samantha Learman and Addie Shaw back too?
Yeah, I think our women are loaded this year, and again, I mean, a million things can happen, but as a staff, we think we've got a shot at a conference title this year, and that would be, I don't know exactly how many years ago our women won, but it's been a while, and I also believe that our women can be top 3 at nationals this year. Last year, we ended up in 9th for indoor and 12th for outdoor, and that was not bad. I mean, anyone who's in a top 12 nationally, we're not unhappy with, but I really believe that we're going to be in the running for a top 3 again this year. We're bringing some red shirts back in who are all healthy and looking great. We've got Mackenzie Gravo, who's a several-time All-American for us in the pole vault. We've got Allison Brooks, who's our school record holder in the pole vault and the high jump. We've got JC Pfeiffer, who was a redshirt freshman last year out of Holdridge, Nebraska. She was the state champion her senior year in the 400. She ran 57.73, I think. And she also got runner-up in the pole vault with an 11.2. And she has been taking this last year to kind of rework her entire pole vault technique from the ground up and she's blowing through some big poles right now, and I think she could do very well at nationals for us. 400 wise, I mean, she ran 58 something the other day, or 59-1 at our intra squad, all by herself and on an indoor track, and looked good doing it. So I think JC is another piece of the puzzle. Then you look at all of our returners. For instance, you mentioned the throwers, Addie Shaw, Sam Learman, and then you bring in some of our younger kids who maybe, I don't want to forget to mention Johanna Ragland, who's just killing it right now, and then Mariah Hankey, and you've got returning All-American Carly Mason now, Carly Weiser, sorry, hold on a second. Carly Scorpa, who married Mason Weiser this summer, and so she's Carly Weiser now. And she just got done student teaching this fall, but she was out in California. But then you've also got Morgan DeYoung that's throwing really well. And I could keep going, but they threw some boomers at the intra-squad meet, and we're looking very well for next year, or for this spring. Addie Shaw is a national discus champion coming back. Sam Learman is a 2-time national champion in the shot put. And then we've got several other All-Americans right there. So yeah, I think throws were really good too. On the vault side, not only do we have J.C. Pfeiffer and Allison Brooks, Mackenzie Gravo, but we've got Tristan Mosier, who would have hit it. She jumped a PR the other day and was well over 11.6. We have Anna Bach, who made it to nationals as a freshman last year, and then we've got some freshman Erin Mapson, who has gone 11.6 in practice meets this year already. She's from Lincoln East High School. So our women, we could put 3 or 4 women on the podium if all goes well at the national stage. In the distance events, Taylor Grove is coming fresh off of a debut at cross country national. She's a senior from Billings West High School in Montana, and she had the highest placing since 2012 at the national meet. Then she came back, ran the half marathon, had a 3-minute PR, and broke a 14-year school record set by Michelle Quinlan back in 2004. She's looking really good right now and in a great place physically and mentally. And we're going to try to get her to nationals in the indoor 5,000 and see what happens there. But we're hoping that she can make All-American in the marathon this year. I don't want to forget Evan Ashe, I forgot to mention earlier, is another one of our top incoming returning distance guys who also hit the A standard for nationals in the half marathon. So he will be competing at the marathon for us at nationals, and he's looking really good. Back to the women, we also have freshman Abby Deloach, who was all conference for us as a freshman, was our number 2 runner, depending on which day it was, or Rebecca Henricks, the other one. And both of those women are killing it. Hannah Redmond looking good, a transfer out of Pittsburgh State. So on the distance side, we're good. Hurdles, multi-events. Let's talk about that a little bit. Our Jessica Dieterding is a beast. She is really beyond where she was last year. She made it to nationals in the heptathlon, but did not place. I think she's got a really good shot at making All-American, both indoors in the pent and also outdoors in the heptathlon. She jumped over 18 feet the other day in the long jump, and she also is doing some big things. Her hurdles time has come down. Kennedy Mogul's right there with her. Both of those girls would have hit a minimum mark for nationals in the pentathlon at our intra-squad meet if it was official, and so that's good to know. We also have Emily Loy, who's right on the cusp of breaking in as a returning sophomore. Then you look at just our jumps crew, and I think we have 10 women over 16 feet right now, and we have 4 of them in the high 17s, and again, that can improve. We think we can have 3 girls in the 18 to 19 range this year. That's really big for conference and nationals. Then triple jump, Coach Ernie thinks we've got a chance to, on the women's side, to have 3 women break our school record this year. Jessica Dieterding and Leah Larson's our top returning triple jumper. She jumped at nationals for us last year, and she's looking really good. Jessica Dieterding's popped off a big one, and then freshman Adriana Sims is looking really good. And then you've got Cora Olson, another freshman out of Minnesota, who also could put it together and do some big stuff. I could keep listing jumpers. We've got some good stuff happening. High jump, Allie Glazer is a freshman out of Papio South, and I think she'll help us out significantly. In the hurdle events, Sarah Lewis from Ansley Litchfield is a freshman. She was third at state last year in the 100 hurdles and the 300 hurdles. Claire Cornell is playing basketball right now, but Claire's out of Elm Creek, and Claire was the state champion in the 300 hurdles last year. She was state runner-up in the 100-meter dash, I believe. She also was the state champion in the long jump. She's currently the Class D state record holder in the long jump, and she's also the state meet record holder in the 300 hurdles. So she'll come in even off of basketball training, which again, they working pretty hard, so I'm not too worried about her fitness level. But Claire's a fierce competitor too, and you add her to the mix for outdoor, and some really cool things can happen. Coming in with outdoor, you got Elle Lure, another freshman thrower out of, a basketball player, Carrie Bauer from Pleasanton High School, and so there's just a lot of pieces of the puzzle. I know I've forgotten people. We have a lot of events to cover, but I just think about these kids and pray for them all the time, guys and girls. I've got a big prayer wall in my office, and these kids are on my mind, and I'm really excited about who we've got on the squad this year. We've signed 24 great kids for next year, and have a number of others making final decisions. I think our guys and our girls team is just going to continue to blossom with ability and with the team spirit that we've got, the family that we've created. The coaching staff and I we talk about it, and we're just kind of rubbing our hands together a little bit and going, this could be pretty cool. So again, a lot can happen. We have fierce competitors on the other teams. The GPAC is well coached and well recruited, and we go up against some of the powerhouses like Doane and Hastings, and then our northern schools like Dordt, Northwestern, Morningside, and then even some of the smaller programs are bringing some heavy hitters into the mix. And so we'll have some good competition this year at the GPAC. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So you're answering most of my questions right there.
All right. Well, sorry, I got on a roll, and so whatever questions you have left, go for it.
Well, say you've touched on quite a few athletes who are part of that big sophomore class right now. What is that development like? Going from freshman to sophomore year, I imagine some of those athletes are making big jumps in that transition.
We see that a lot, and I think I talk to high school recruits because they're always like, how is this different from high school? And I tell them a lot of our kids are 3 or 4 sport athletes in high school, depending on what size school they were at. They'll play volleyball or softball in the fall, or football, then they'll do wrestling or basketball in the winter, and then they do track in the spring. And I say, look, the year-round stuff is the same, except you're doing one sport the whole time. And I told someone the other day, I said, there's a lot of stress your freshman year. And again, a lot of it's good stress. You're making some of the best friends you'll ever have. You're away from home and experiencing really cool things. But at the same time, there's stress is stress. If a person gets married, that's a really cool event in their life, but it's still stress. You have a baby, that's a really cool event, and that's still stress. So a lot of the good things are also new, and so there's a big load of stress that every freshman, and guys and girls, go through. And usually by April, it doesn't mean they quit performing. It just means that they start getting a little weepy and going, "Oh, I love this coach. I'm ready for it to be over." And it's like they're figuring out their new social situation. They're learning how the system works. They're learning how to study differently, and they're away from home for the first time. And so I think it does have an effect on their overall development. We see a big blossoming in performance from high school a lot of times just because they're lifting consistently. They've got a training group. Our training group in each of our event areas is so important to the development of these kids who a lot of times were the one fast kid at their high school, and then they come in and they're like, fifth, and they're surrounded by other good kids who push them every day, and they get better because of that. But at the same time, you get into your sophomore year, You come in, you know the routine, you know who your friends are, you understand what it's like, you learn how to pace yourself differently, you don't have all the angst and worries coming in your freshman year of, oh my gosh, will I be able to handle all this? And it's just a lot better performances come out of that because they know how to handle it better. And so that's pretty typical. So I'm really curious to see how that works out.
You've talked about the improvement of the jumpers and you've had an off season now with an additional full-time coach with Wayne Ernie. In what ways has that had an impact on some of the growth too for this program?
Yeah, Ernie brings a huge amount of knowledge and experience into the jumping program, and I think it's really the first time we've ever had a full-time dedicated jumps coach in the history of Concordia. We needed it because we recruited so many jumpers, and again, we've had some good part-time jumps coaches, but to have somebody there who has every day programmed out for them, who has a sequence and a cycle and a training plan. He's also taken over high jump this year because our former high jump coach Craig Sawfeld had a lot of things come up with his family business and wasn't able to be there for us, and he regretfully stepped down, but he's been a great coach for us. But Ernie's now been able to work with these high jumpers consistently too, and so we're going to see some big things. He also has a demeanor that, I mean, the kids absolutely love him. He's great at what he does. He has high expectations for them. He's done some things, just little things that make a big difference. Like he ordered these when he first came here last year. He went and designed these little aluminum toe tags off of Etsy and paid for them out of his own money, but there's blue, gold, and silver ones, and basically he says to the kids, earn your toe tags. If they make nationals, I think they get a silver one. If they make All-American, they get a blue, and if they're a national champion, they get a gold toe tag, and it just loops through your laces. He makes these little rubber bracelets every year with kind of a theme or whatever that he wants them to remember, and so the little things matter. He obviously cares about them a lot, but he also sits in his office when he's not working with the athletes, and he is watching video and reading books and going to clinics. He's a student of the sport. He's got a great coach's eye, and I think that immediately has had an impact. Even last year, a number of our jumpers had huge personal bests and made it to nationals for the first time. So no, he's a great guy.